Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mikestand. I'm going to give people a chance to get in here in a few minutes here. So let's see. Just looking over. We're just waiting for a few more minutes here. I do need. All right. Well, I do need to go off camera here for a moment, so I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So I'm just giving people a chance to get in here before we get going. Walking through a town in a faceless crowd, I need to feel the touch of a friend. In the countryside, I wander far and wide, the isolation gets me again. I don't know where to go when I feel like crying. Oh my, it's time to open myself, do something new. I want to stop and grow up a bit. And suddenly my intuition and my wisdom grows. And then I know most of all, then compassionately forever. Thank you for waking me up. Okay. We will be heroes. Battle Dimension Pokemon. Scooby Dooby Doo. Where are you? We got some work to do now. Come on, Scooby Doo. I see you pretending you got a shiver. You're not fooling me, 'cause I can see the way you shake and shiver. You know you got a mystery to solve, so Scooby Doo, be ready for your act. Don't hold back. And Scooby Doo, you're gonna have yourself a Scooby snack. That's a fact. Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? You're ready and you're willing, and we can count on you. Be Scooby Doo. You know we'll catch that villain. All right. Well, we have a third person in here, so now we're coming up on 5 minutes here. So what? And if you guys can, a couple things here. One, if you can remember to like and share the stream, so everyone gets some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. Also, um, if you can also, if anything grabs your attention, of course, feel free to comment or ask questions. I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, with all that being said, now, well, here's what's on tap for tonight. So, I'm going to go over 3 articles from Bounding into Comics. One's in regards to, let's see, among those, they have confirmed the second core for Bleach Thousand Year Blood War. Um, with a tease from creator Tite Kubo about an upcoming anime exclusive fight. Let's see. We're also going to look at Mark Hamill here. Mark Hamill has indicated he no longer wants to play the Joker without, of course, without Kevin Conroy. As some of you probably remember, Kevin Conroy passed away last month. So we'll be looking at that. And then let's see. And IDW is coming out with a new Rocketeer one shot. Um, so, so there we go. So those 3 articles, plus of course the wrestling roundup, along with the other things. So, and of course the state news history. So without any further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started then? But Bleach Thousand Year Blood War confirmed second core as creator Tite Kubo teases upcoming anime exclusive fight. Article by Nerdigan published yesterday. So this I think came up after I had already determined which articles I was going to in fact this came up probably even after I finished the show. So rather than running off to scour holiday goods at 50% off or returning unwanted gifts, Bleach fans spend the day after Christmas enjoying a belated gift in the form of Thousand Year Blood Wars hour-long core finale. Hmm. Oh, wrong way, Mike. Following the emotional roller coaster that was the combined airing of the series' 12th and 13th episodes, fans were further treated um, to the first official trailer for the second part of the ultimate war between the Shinigami and Quincy, aptly named Thousand Year Blood War Part 2 Separation. Bladed me. Bleach. The trailer kicks off with a still image of the Sternritter crest, behind which the Quincy King, Yukwak, who is voiced in the Japanese by Takayuki Sugo, who voiced Iwao Hazuki in Shenmue the Animation, can be heard both declaring Uru Ishida, who is voiced in the Japanese by Noriaki Sugiyama, who also and he also voices, of course, Shiro Imiya in Fate Stay Night, as his heir, and teasing the upcoming clash between Bazby and Jugrum Hoshwalth. The trailer then transitions to find the final form of Ichikago's Zangetsu floating in a sea of red, at which point Mayuri Kuratsuchi, voiced in Japanese by Ryusei Nakao, who also did Frieza in the Dragon Ball series, proclaims that he also has discovered a method to for the Shinigami recover their Bankai from the Quincy. Not only that, but as the camera zooms in on Dual Blades, Renji Abarai, voiced in the Japanese voice being provided by Kentaro Ito, who also did Yoshitake Shiraishi in Golden Kamui, and Ruke Kuchi, voiced in the Japanese version by Fumiko Horikata, who voiced Chun-Li in the Street Fighter series, reveal the true names of their respective bankais. Uh, As a Quincy star cross begins to float across the screen, a frantic Ichigo, who is voiced by Masakazu Morita, who provided the voice of Whis in the Dragon Ball, of course, the Japanese voice, mind you, cries out to Yuru, begging him to return to their side after he decides to truly part ways with his allies. After the dialogue, 12th Division Captain of the Gotei 13 and second president of the Shinigami Research Branch, Mayuri Kursushi, voiced again by, again, as we noted earlier, Ryusei Nakao, who did Frieza, makes an extravagant grand entrance alongside his lieutenant, Nemu, who is voiced in the Japanese by Rie Kugimiya, who also provided the voice of Risei Kujikawa in Persona 4, emerging from his laboratory clad in a glowing coat and ready to prove his Quincy shadow theory. Next up is Vondervik, Imperial Advisor, and Stern Ritter Jugrum Hashwolf, who is voiced in the Japanese by Yuichiro Umehara, who did the titular voice of Goblin Slayer in Goblin Slayer, who emerges from the shadows to introduce himself as the newly appointed Captain Commander of the Gotei 13, um, as the newly appointed Captain Commander of the Gotei 13, Shunsui Kiraku, living up to his Stern Ritter designation by turning up, in smaller quotes, the heat. Fan favorite Bizarre Basby Black, voiced in Japan by Yuki Ono, who also provided the Japanese voice for Isami Aldini in Food Wars: The Fifth Plate, is shown mid-clash against the icy pint-sized 10th captain of the Gotei 13, Hitsugaya Toshiro, who is voiced by Romy Park, who is also the Japanese voice of Edward Elric in Full Metal Alchemist. Finding himself on the ropes against Baz B, Hitsugaya goes for broke and recovers the ability to use his Bankai by temporarily hollowifying himself by ingesting a Shineyaku, a medicine that allows for Shinigami's weapon to power up and become toxic to the Quincy. In turn, he revels the darker red-tinted scene form of Hiyorimaru, seen in the trailer. Not one to be outdone by the Shinigami, Stern Ritter, quote, E, the Explode, unquote, otherwise known as Bambietta Bastarbean, who is the character voice is done by Ayana Takatatsu, who also provided the voice of Nino in the Quintessential Quintuplets, follows Hitsugaya by activating her Quincy exploding Volstandig. Finally, the trailer concludes with Ishida declaring that on his pride as a Quincy, he shall eliminate an unknown opponent, most likely Ichigo, based on what has been depicted in the series thus far. Now, of course, Ishida and Ichigo have always been somewhat rivals, even when they were allies. So, hmm. Oh, oopsie! I was reading that and forgot to share it. Oh boy. I was reading the article but forgot to share it. So you guys could kind of see it as I'm seeing it. Sorry about that. Of course I'm not going to start all over because that'd be kind of silly. But sometimes you get stuck mid gear, right? Anyways, continuing on with the article then. Sorry about that. At least you can see some of it here. A few days after the trailer's premiere, series creator Tite Kubo gave an interview alongside Ichigo voice actor Masazaku Morita to the official Bleach website, wherein he confirmed that Part 2, The Separation, would feature an exclusive fight he was unable to include in the original manga. Quote, in the second core, there is a new battle that is not in the original work, Kubo announced, translated via Deep Bell. Quote, I couldn't draw the battle because between one character and another in the original work, and the anime production team asked me if I wanted to have this character fight in this area. So I gave them the idea that I couldn't draw, drawing and naming the character. A September 2022 advanced screening of Bleach Thousand Year Blood War confirmed that the series, 52 episodes, would be spread out across 4 quote unquote cores or seasons, with breaks likely coming after each new batch of 12 or 13 episodes. Viz Media has confirmed that the simulcast of Bleach Thousand Year Blood War Part 2, The Separation, will begin streaming exclusively in July 2023. So not only are they breaking it up into 4 different cores or seasons, whatever you want to call them, but they're spreading them out. And there we go with that one. So that's that one. Nothing like overly controversial there, just a trailer. All right, so here's the second article we're going to go over. Mark Hamill indicates he is through playing the Joker without Kevin Conroy. Quote, there doesn't seem to be a Batman for me. Article by J.B. Augustine, published earlier today. With the passing of Kevin Conroy, came an end of an era for an iconic Batman and for Bat fans, but that is not all the bad news to share in the aftermath of the silencing of a voice that embodied the Dark Knight better and longer than anyone else. For many, especially millennials, Conway was the definitive Batman. And no Cape Crusader is complete without a Joker to face and foil. Conroy's yin to that yang was the equally iconic portrayal of the Clown Prince of Crime by Mark Hamill. Just as Conroy is celebrated, Hamill is often considered the best Joker ever, and the two played off one another in a recording booth on various projects, which is true. Mark Hamill, and I've said this before about Mark Hamill, because of course live action he's known as being portraying Luke Skywalker in some of the original Star Wars movies, but in the realm of voice acting, he's been known to kind of take on a number of like very kind of hyper psychotic villains. The Joker being one of them, Hobgoblin in the Spider-Man series of the '90s. He was also the lead protagonist, and I think in the cartoon Super Robot Monkey Force. So he's quite well known. Their most recent pairing was in 2016 with the animated version of Alan Moore's The Killing Joke, which sadly turned out to be the last hurrah for this real life dynamic duo. Even sadder, it might be the last time we hear Hamill's unmistakable cackle as he told Empire magazine by a comic book movie, there's no Batman in it for him anymore. They would call and say they want you to do the Joker, and my only question was, is Kevin Batman? If they said yes, I would say, I'm in. We were like partners, he explained. We were like Laurel and Hardy. For those of you who may not know, Laurel and Hardy was a comedic duo back in the 30s and 40s, I believe. So, without Kevin, there doesn't seem to be a Batman for me, unquote. Given how rocked everyone was by Conroy's death, his remarks aren't surprising. A day after Conway passed from cancer at age 66, Hamill paid tribute to the man, tweeting, quote, stunned by the loss of this brilliant actor. Words can't express my admiration and respect for the man. I loved him like a brother, unquote. His post was tagged with hashtag RIP Kevin Conroy and a broken heart emoji, a sentiment shared across social media in memory of the actor. So there they are right there. I guess. Conroy's career extended to live action when he played a Kingdom Come version of Bruce Wayne during the Arrowverse's Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, and the video games reprising Batman for a open world Arkham series and Injustice. His last role is as the Bat in that medium as a member of the voice cast for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So, anyways, there we go with that one. Huh. That one actually went a little quicker than I thought. ah, so we're up to 25 minutes here. I might have to check and see some things, see if. So here's the third article we were going to look over here. A comics related article. New The Rocketeer, in smaller quotes, anthology features unpublished story from 1991's, in smaller quotes, The Rocketeer screenwriters. Article by John F. Trent, published January 19th. Published earlier today, basically. So, IDW Publishing announced they will publish a new The Rocketeer one-shot anthology book that includes 3 new tales showcasing Dave Stevens' fan favorite character. This new anthology, simply titled The Rocketeer, came about when it was discovered during the making of the documentary Dave Stevens, Drawn to Perfection, that filmmaker Kevin Mao found out that screenwriters Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo had written an unpublished Rocketeer comic book story featuring Amelia Earhart. The comic was previously available as perk for Kickstarter for the documentary. That 8-page story will now be published in the in this anthology, following Mao and executive producer Robert Wyndham approaching artist Adam Hughes to illustrate it. Oh, there it is right there. Oh, the Amelia story was written by Paul and me as a tribute to Dave. Now it serves as a tribute to both of them, unquote, says Bilson. Quote, we're very honored to have Adam bring it to life, unquote. Mao added, quote, what an amazing gift born out of making Dave Stevens Drawn to Perfection. It's been a singular privilege collaborating with some of Dave's longtime pals on the bona fide Rocketeer comic, unquote. Quote, the Rocketeer, my favorite flying hero, has got a dish of a girlfriend, an unnecessarily cool outfit, and great hair. You'd hate someone like that in real life, but as a comic book character, he's aces, unquote, says Hughes. Alongside the 8-page previously unpublished story is a 12-page story documenting Cliff Seckard's date night with Betty. IDW details the date leads to trouble with a vaguely familiar adventurer archaeologist, unquote. This 12-page story is written by Mao with artwork by Craig Cernak and colors by Laura Martin. Finally, the anthology also includes a 4-page story showing the Rocketeer finding a Japanese Zero in the South Pacific. This story is written by Robert Wyndham and drawn by Jai Lee, with colors by Jun Chung. The anthology will also include pinups by Phil Noto and Maria Laura Sanapo, um, and others. Uh, Wyndham teased his four-page story, saying, quote, "The short story that Guy and I created is intended to be a dreamy contemplation of life and love, but with some great Rocketeer action. And Betty, of course, Guy's ethereal style, is a perfect fit for it." Unquote. He added, um, quote, "It was a huge honor contributing art for this project. Dave Stevens has been an inspiration to me since I first saw his work. He captured the beauty of a time period that is forever golden." Hmm. The book will be available to purchase in comic shops with a number of variant covers in May. Cover A is done by Adam Hughes, with cover B by Gabriel Rodriguez. They also announced there will be two retailer incentive full art, quote unquote, variants of the Hughes and Rodriguez covers. One of the variant covers will be done by Jai Lee, who shared it on Instagram. You plan on getting your hands on this new Rocketeer Sunshine Anthology? Probably not. I have a lot of money to spend myself. But anyways, yeah, so we went through those pretty quickly. So let's see first off if there's any more here that we can, if there is any more here that we can, might want to report on. Well, maybe we'll go around CDR to see what else. Oh, look at that. There is another anime related story we can look at here. Spy Family confirms a second season. So there we go. Let's take a look at this now. Actually, before we do get into this, I do need to step away from the computer for a moment. So I'll be right back. let's get into this next article here. Then we might, kill a little more time by going over to PBR and seeing what they've got. So, all right. So, Spy Family anime confirmed second season and original movie written by creator Tetsuya Endo for 2023. Nerdigans Inc. Written by Nerdigans Inc. Published today. So yeah, this I think was just published because I just found this just now as I was looking at. So Spy Family has been a very popular anime, to say the least. So among the many early presents Shueisha presented fans at last year's Jump Festa, one of the biggest was undoubtedly the announcement that the activation order have been given to both the second season of the Spy Family anime as well as cinematic outing penned by original manga creator Tatsuya Endo. There's Anya right there with her little puppy dog. uh, these two new missions are revealed via a brief trailer unveiled near the end of Jump Super Stage's Spy Family presentation by series voice actors Takuya Iguchi, who is the voice of Lloyd Forger in there, the Japanese voice, anyways. Atsumi Tanizaki, who is Anya Forger, voice Anya Forger. Saori Hayami, who is your Forger, and Kenichiro Matsuda, Bon the dog. While the anime will continue adapting the Spy Family manga, the film will feature an original story written by Endo, though as of writing, it's currently unknown whether or not its event will be canon. The mangaka will also serve as one of the Spy Family, the movie's producers, as well as its character designer. The character designer part makes sense, obviously, because he's the one who created this wonderful franchise. Further, the presentation confirmed that both Spy Family Season 2 and Spy Family the movie are currently slated to release sometime later in 2023. Following the film's announcement, Endo unveiled a new commemorative illustration depicting the Forger family with Lloyd at the helm and Anya holding a bucket of popcorn, riding a plane towards their next harrowing um, assignment. So that's it right there. Gaga ni Odekiki. uh, in a New Year's message provided alongside his new drawing, Endo recalled how, via Deepel, that's the translator, quote, thankfully this year has brought a lot of excitement to my work through the anime. It was a year that went by so fast with so much happening that I don't even understand it myself. Quote, I have often seen the Forger family around town and on TV, and although I used to look at it as if it were something else, I am very happy to be able to feel it a little more. Unquote, he continued. Quote, once again, I would like to thank in the production team, the voice actors, everyone involved in the animation, and all the readers and viewers who support the work. Oh, look at that! Look at that! She got bunny ears and little kimono. How cute! Look at that. That's cute. There's a dog. Look at that. He's even got a little Happy New Year. Quote, there will be a second anime there will be a second anime season in 2023 as well as a movie, unquote. The mangaka then reiterated. Quote, so I hope that the anime will gain even more momentum in the future, unquote. Drawing his message to a close, Endo asserted, quote, we are also slowly updating the original manga. So if you have come to know Spy Family from the anime, we know you will take a look at Jump Plus as well, unquote. So, for overseas readers, new simulpub chapters of Tetsuya Endo's Spy Family release every other Sunday on Shueisha's official Manga Plus and Viz Media Shonen Jump apps. Oh, there we go. And I know we already did read the that one about Akira Toriyama. All right. So, anyways, and I don't think there's going to be much more because I think that was we did update the thing there, and I don't think there's much more coming out of this right now. And we're not even. I don't even think we're at it. Yeah, I don't even think we're at an hour yet. Yeah, we still got plenty of time here. So why don't we head over to CBR and see what we can find there? Again, I won't do spoilers or anything like that, but maybe we can find some stuff on release information. So we'll try the comics area first. So I'll go down and find side of a day ago. Oh, this looks like a major story, even though it came out yesterday. Normally, but or over a day, um, but this one looks pretty important here. Comixology gutted by Amazon layoffs. Former staff worry for the service's future. As Comixology is hit hard by Amazon layoffs, former and current staff members question what the future has in store for the service. Article by Jeremy Blum, published a day ago, so yesterday. Social media conversation around Comixology erupted on January 18th after major redundancies were reported at the Amazon owned company. Now, mind you, Comixology, I believe, is an online comic book store, I believe. So I believe it's where you can get comics or order comics through, or you can go read them, stream them. According to Amazon journalist Jason Del Rey, Amazon retail CEO Doug Harrington issued a note notifying employees of the layoffs in the morning, emphasizing that it was, quote, an important part of a wider effort to lower our cost to serve so we can continue investing in the wide selection, low prices, and fast shipping that our customers love, unquote. While Comixology was not specifically mentioned in the report, the head of the digital comics company clarified on Twitter that they had been affected. Comixology founders David Steinberger and John D. Roberts chimed in, noting that they were saddened over the loss of jobs. And here's a full report, I guess. TBR reached out to Amazon for comment and was referred to a general post about Amazon's layoffs and no details regarding Comixology's situation. A portion of the statement written by Amazon CEO Andy Jassy reads, quote, as I shared back in November as part of our annual planning process for 2023, leaders across the company have been working with their teams and looking at their workforce levels, investments they want to make in the future, and prioritizing what matters most to customers and long-term health of our business. This year's review has been more difficult given the uncertain economy and that we've hired rapidly over the last several years. In November, we communicated a hard decision to eliminate a number of positions across our devices and books businesses, and also announced a voluntary reduction offer for some employees in our People Experience and Technology PXT organization. I also shared that we weren't done with our annual planning process and that I expected there would be more role reductions in early 2023. Quote, today I wanted to share the outcome of these further reviews, which is the difficult decision to eliminate additional roles. Between the reductions we made in November and the ones we're sharing today, we plan to eliminate just over 18,000 roles. Several teams are impacted. However, the majority of the role eliminations are in our Amazon stores and PXT organizations. S Team and I are deeply aware of the role eliminations that the role eliminations are difficult for people, and we don't take these decisions lightly or underestimate how much they might affect the lives of those who are impacted. We are working to support those who are affected and are providing packages that include a separation payment, transitional health insurance benefits, and external job placement support. So essentially, what they're saying is, with these people that they're laying off, they're giving them some money, let them keep their health insurance, I guess, until they can find another job, and then and also even helping them try to find another job. So that sounds like a nice deal. Hmm. All right. Social media sheds further light on Amazon's comicsology layoffs. Scott McGovern, who previously worked as a program manager at Comicsology for a decade, posted a Twitter thread in the aftermath of the layoffs. McGovern estimated um, that at least 50% of the staff have been let go, and added that the number might be as high as 75%. McGovern also wrote that he was, quote, quote unquote, not optimistic about the future of digital comics at Amazon, despite the best efforts of Comicsology staff. Others, whether they be comic fans or former employees, also commented on the situation. Comicsology was fully integrated with Amazon at the beginning of 2022, after previously existing as a separate site and app. On the day of integration, Comicsology's desktop reader was shuttered, and users were shuffled to an Amazon subsite to purchase their books. Many were unable to access comics they had already bought due to confusion regarding the buggy user interface and industry creators, including the likes of Gail Simone, Greg Pak, and Jim Zub, rallied against the changes. Um, Comixology later admitted that the integration with Amazon had been quote unquote far from seamless. The company continued to address a number of these criticisms in mid 2022, emphasizing that employees were hard at work to improve the user interface and create a new reliable desktop reader. Oh, there we go with that one. Whoa. uh, all right. So, anyways, all right. Well, here's something from Image. Let me just double check, make sure there are no spoilers here. Let's see. Well, no, doesn't look like it. So, we pretty good to go here then. Huh. Okay. Exclusive. Radiant Blacks, Higgins and Clark explore jazz music in Image's new series. CBR can exclusively announce Deep Cuts, a new Image Comics miniseries about jazz musicians from Radiant Black's Kyle Higgins and Joe Clark. Article by Brandon Schwer, published 11 hours ago. All right, so let's get into this. Radiant Black's Kyle Higgins and Joe Clark are teaming with an all-star roster of artists for a new Image Comics miniseries, Deep Cuts. CBR can exclusively announce Deep Cuts, a new 6-issue miniseries from Image Comics, written by Higgins and Clark. Each issue of Deep Cuts features contributions from a different talented artist, with the lineup including Danilo Beirut of Deep Cuts number 1, Helena Marcellus, Deep Cuts number 2, Diego Greco, Deep Cuts number 3, Ramon Perez, Deep Cuts number 4, Juniba, Deep Cuts number 5, and Tony Cypress, Deep Cuts number 6. Igor Monti colored all 6 issues. The publisher said of the series, quote, inspired by real events, Deep Cuts tells stories of the interconnected struggle, joy, and hope in jazz, as well as the, in parentheses here, sometimes stray connections that ultimately inspire each new generation, unquote. Here are some images right here for you guys to look at, some of the panel pieces here. Some covers, a couple of covers there. Each issue of Deep Cuts also features Chicago jazz composers' lead sheets of original songs. The synopsis for Deep Cuts number 1 reads, quote, New Orleans, 1917. In the city's bustling red light district, a young clarinet player lands a job with his hero. But he'll soon discover there's more to the music business than playing the right notes. Join writers Kyle Higgins and Joe Clark of Radiant Black, and an all-star cast of artists for 6 double-length issues that weave stories of struggle, joy, and hope through the history of jazz. Higgins and Clark speak on Deep Cuts. Higgins said of Deep Cuts, quote, Joe and I first met in high school and playing in too many bands, jazz groups, and chamber ensembles to name, and became close friends through our love of comic books, film, and music, said Higgins. Unquote. We've collaborated on many projects over the years, but Deep Cuts is on a different level. This isn't an academic book. This isn't an academic look at jazz and American music, but instead a story spanning 50 years exploring the people and the deeply human connections in music and culture that ultimately inspire each new generation. Let's see. Quote, Deep Cuts imagines characters on the periphery who, in spite of their circumstances, find the courage to face the unknown and play an important part in the landscape of American music, even if they don't know it, unquote, Clark said. Clark added, rather. All right. So, anyways, let's see. Okay. So, quote, Deep Cuts imagines. Okay. So we read that part. Let's see. Quote, our 6-issue series begins in New Orleans and jumps through the decades to new cities and new protagonists. And our amazing team of artists reflects that breadth and scale. Getting to work with Kyle and his insanely talented team has been so creatively fulfilling, and Um, I can't wait for us to share the story. Deep Cut number one features cover by Chris Brummer and release is um, April 26, 2023 from the Mid Comics. Of course, the Mid Comics. Okay. All right, so there we go with that one. Let's see. An hour, 4 minutes. I do need to step away from the computer again for a moment. I'll be right back. I'll put the music on when I'm gone. Um, and, with the yeah, and see a bit more we can find. There's a few stories here, but I think I'm down a little bit. Hours. So we do have some stuff to go over, on the wrestling wrap up anyway. So, um, yes, we can get to that. Just checking some stuff real quick here. Okay, so I'm gonna go over more of a just a generalized wrestling wrap up here. Um, so the one piece that WWE news that did come out today is that apparently Vince McMahon um, has settled an old um, art allegation, as it were. Um, According to WrestleMania, he settled with Rita Chatterton, who had accused him of assaulting her back in 1986. Um, I think it was more just wasn't necessarily an admission of guilt. It was just more a case of him just not wanting to have this headache with everything else going on. So that's the only piece. And I also went over some of the stuff. Now this Monday, of course, WWE had the 30th anniversary edition of Monday Night Raw. Obviously almost 2 full weeks after 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 the actual date it popped on, but it makes a somewhat sense because it's also going to be the go home Raw to into going into Royal Rumble. With that being said, quite a bit of stuff going on with AEW last night last night. Everybody, as we reported yesterday, Jay Briscoe, real name Damon Hughes, passed away in a car accident on Tuesday, Tuesday evening his time. So one of the big story, I'll get to the results of Dynamite and talk a little bit about some stuff going on there in a moment. But apparently the people at now, granted, the wrestlers did pay tribute. We did pay tribute to Jay in a number of ways. They wore armbands um, for him. let's see. They wore armbands for him. I know in their match, Young Bucks utilized the Doomsday device, which was a now granted, originated by the World Warriors, Hawk Animal, but also used by um, Jay and Mark Briscoe, the Briscoe Brothers. Now, apparently, AEW wanted to do more in terms of a tribute to him, but however, one he was not. They were the he was never a part of AEW, and we talked about this before. We talked about this like sometime last year, where where um, where basically people up at Warner Brothers Discovery did not you know there was more of a tribute planned, but this Warner Brothers Discovery apparently nixed it. They nixed it over comments that Jay had made years ago that he had since apologized for. Um, but here's the problem with that too. Just here's kind of the issue with that. For those of you who have seen the British, now I've only seen them in just last couple of years here, but I know they've been around for quite some time. They've been around for like the last 20 plus years here. Okay, they started up in 2000. Okay, probably considered probably considered right up there with FTR as one of the greatest teams of the modern wrestling scene. You know, they were 13-time Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, having just won their record-breaking 13th reign this past December, a month ago. Pretty much a little over a month ago, 5 weeks ago. That's not the final battle. Um, of course, the titles have been vacated due to Steve passing, or we'll see what all happens with that. Um, but I know that with Tony Khan focusing on getting a TV deal for Ring of Honor, he's now been able to bring the Briscoes back. Um, you mentioned, they were one time Impact World Tag Team Champions of the world, but 14 times altogether. Um, but the thing about it is here is that the Briscoes to the left represent they're one of the characters for the right. One character is of course the rich old white man. The other is the um, kind of like gritty, mountainy farm hand. You know, just the one that the neocons and many of the many urbanites just love to stick their nose up at. You know, and no, you shouldn't get a vote because you're just some dirty farmer. You're just some dirty cowhand. Yeah, you know. But the Briscoe brothers. Um, but yeah, they wanted to do more of a tribute, and were not allowed to by because the Briscoes just didn't fit with their company's image. So with that, moving on to, of course, the actual results of the night. Of course, the main event did see Darby Allin. So in the two title matches, Darby Allin retained the TNT title over Kushida, which many would call a classic. You also had Orange Cassidy retain the All Atlantic title over Jay Lethal. Bryan Danielson was able to continue his march towards Revolution as he defeated Bandito um, with what sounds like now in some of his interviews now. Now MJF, I think, is truly seems to be truly worried. Um, uh, you know, Top Flight made another jump in terms of really showing off themselves as a team to be reckoned with, as they defeated the Young Bucks, having recently, of course, been in a bit of a mini feud with Blackpool Combat Club and having gone up against different combinations of Claudio Castagnoli, Brian Danielson, and John Moxley at differing points. Um, having beaten the current AEW World Trios champion. Now, mind you, the Young Bucks are still recovering from their battles with Death Triangle, but still, that's still considered a pretty impressive victory for the Martin brothers there. And it looks like they may be getting a push. It looks like they are looking like a team that you could see them challenging the Acclaimed at some point this year for the AEW World Tag Team Champions. The Jericho Appreciation Society continues its downward slide as Jake Hager is thrown to the absolute lion himself, Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks, of course, defeated Jake Hager. So, so there, and you, of course, are tomorrow night. You're going to have Daniel Garcia taking on Action Andretti. So see how that turns out. Um, we already talked, and another little interesting twist. I haven't actually had a chance to watch the match itself yet, but I saw the news coverage on it. So, as I mentioned last night, it looked like you had two faces facing against each other, Tony Storm and Willow Nightingale. Tony Storm defeated, but as according to the news reports from WrestleMania today, um, it looks like Saraya and Storm are turning heel. Uh, Angle, it's kind of a weird way to kind of get this angle going in some respects, but the angle seems to be these outsiders coming in and just trying to trash on the AEW originals, you know. So now it looks like they're turning Saraya and Storm heel, you know, but this just totally came out of left field. So quite honestly, I don't know if anybody really expected this because unless they were wanting to turn Britt face for some reason and or Jamie Hayter, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. So that's basically all that's gone down there. We did talk, of course, about the um, stuff going on with Jay Briscoe. So anyways, we'll start to wrap up a little bit more here now. Today being Thursday, January 19th, 2022. Let's take a look back at this day in each history. History! So with that, let's see now. All right, so first off, we head back 30 years ago today, as on this date 30 years ago today, the 410th issue of Archie went on sale on this date 30 years ago today. Sold for $1.25, 32 pages, featuring, of course, Archie, Reggie, and Mr. Weatherby among the stories. It's kind of an anthology series. So on this date, 30 years ago today, the 410th issue of Archie went on went on sale on this date in 1993, 30 years ago today. So with that, continue on. On this date, 25 years ago today, WCW held its Monday Nitro event from the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. This is the go home Nitro heading into heading into heading into heading into sold out. WCW NWO sold out. The main event saw the Giant defeat Hollywood Hogan. You saw Booker T retain the World Television title over Mortis. Steiner Brothers defeated Buff Bagwell and Conan. Lex Luger defeated Scott Hall via disqualification. Rick Martel, who was making a bit of a comeback, defeated Eddie Guerrero to start off the show. You had a couple dark matches in which Jim Duggan defeated Louis Spicolli. And in the dark match that happened after the show, Lex Luger, Sting, and the Giant defeated Buff Bagwell, Hollywood Hogan, Conan, Randy Savage in a 4-on-3 handicap match. So the three of them beat the four. So, anyways, that happened on this date 25 years ago today. And on this date 5 years ago today in 2018, DreamWorks Animation Trolls The Beat Goes On, which was a Netflix series, premiered on this date back in 2018. So 5 years ago today, Trolls The Beat Goes On premiered on Netflix. So with that, guys, I thank everybody for being here tonight. Don't forget tomorrow night, of course, Tim Olsen will be joining me as we will be looking back to August of 1939. Back at comics went on sale. In this case, well, Harvey Harvey Comics was the company that eventually picked this up. Originally, this book was originally from Book World publication, a Bookwood publication. Um, so we'll be looking at that. Looking at some of the early days of that company, Book World and stuff like that. So with that, guys, I thank you all for being here. And I hope to see every. Let's see. All right. So with that, guys, I thank you all for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.